So somebody's asked me if I thought like magic was real. Like I'm not talking about like Alakazam. I'm not talking about like Disney stuff. I'm talking about like how I view it as is like I've only like done like white magic if you want to call that. I've never done anything baneful. I've started to look at books on that, but that's just really like screwed up. Just to even think. This is just my opinion. I'm not trying to judge. Just to some of the stuff people think about, just to think negatively about others seems like a little screwy. And I definitely believe that I'm not trying to judge, but definitely believe that everything's like arising from like a field of consciousness. Why I believe this is just observations that might seem a little far-fetched. But I was thinking about like like if you want to call it like a spell or something. So I wrote like 2 recently, actually 3. They're all like what you consider white magic, making sure you're not manipulating somebody's free will, making sure that you're not like interfering with someone's life, their path, or whatever. Making sure you're not being harmful, baneful, you're not doing something that would basically take somebody out of the sphere of you don't want to push your view of something onto somebody else, and have that be manipulative in some way. You don't want to violate someone's free will. Someone has the right to choose left or right. If you're trying to like influence something, you don't try to make it go left or right. Somebody has free will, so they can choose that. So I got to thinking, it's very simple. If you think about like, let's say you have a girl who's in a an office setting, and then you have a guy in the office setting, and she wants the guy. And so she might socially find out, around the water cooler, what the guy likes. His favorite color is blue. He likes the 1975, like the band, the 1975, let's say. He likes cats. He likes, crystals, let's say. We're just, anything really that somebody might like. I don't know, like certain types of plants. So like he likes cactus. He likes football. So, he likes, certain scents, certain, let's say plumeria. So, the girl might then really go and like, she might be seen in blue. She might use a plumeria scent. She might learn a lot about football. She might, become a cat lover. It sounds a little excessive, but when you think about it, she's basically trying to imprint on this male herself, so that every time the male is out, excuse me, there's somebody back in here. I'm at the beach, but I just got done swimming in the ocean for like an hour and a half. But she's basically trying to imprint on the male's mind everything that she knows that he likes is representation of her, basically. That way, when let's say he's single or whatever, he's out doing his thing. She's like, oh, she found out that he likes the number 5. So then, she might wear a jersey one day to work, a football jersey, because he likes football too. That's blue. Let's say like I say San Diego Chargers. That's like old school, but that's where I'm at right now. So I'm just gonna say San Diego Chargers, just out of respect for San Diego, whatever. Maybe she has junior, like old school, like junior Seau. I think he's like, what is he, 56, 55, something like that. His number. The point is that it's old school. We're just saying like, it'd be a good way that he would see that if he liked the number 5, the color blue, football, then all those things would be visual stimuli to a certain part of his brain. She'd wear plumeria, so she'd basically be imprinting on his mind, her essence, her being, her consciousness. And then when he was out in public, if he was single, and this is like she's doing this not trying to force herself on someone, she's doing it clearly out of attraction. So then he might be out in public and might sit there and see, the football team or the color blue or the number 5. She might find out that he likes the 1975, so she really, is into this stuff, and then she talks to him about it at the water cooler. Oh yeah, she really likes the song. Now, somebody might say this is flirting, but this is kind of like, somebody who's like, oh, that, magic is all woo. It's not, it's like whatever. It's really just like, a lot of what we used to call magic in the past is now merged into psychology. So when you put that in perspective, you're giving these clues, though, to where the point where you're so kind to somebody, let's say all the time you see them, you're using all these things which can imprint on the mind. So next thing he sees the number 5 and he goes, oh, that's like Jen at work. Jen likes plumeria. And then he starts thinking, wow, Jen likes a lot of stuff that I like. Jen likes the 1975. We discussed songs by them a bunch. for a great period of time. Oh wow! And then he starts considering, oh, Jen's a really nice girl. So that's kind of how like things happen with, if you want to call that like an attraction spell. The girl might take it one step further. When she's in her house, she sets her mind to doing something. She might have a blue candle, which, this isn't like, somebody's like, that's kind of stalkish. It's not stalking, it's just a girl that is asserting her feminine power, if you want to call it that. Men do the same thing. She's being somewhat romantic. Like I read this one the other day. It's called like the Rosebush Union, if you want to call it a spell or something, I don't know. Again, this is what I'm saying is backed up in material science too. This isn't like, this is woo or whatever. This is just something like some idiot with, just dream up and, it's Mickey Mouse waving a wand and Fantasia. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about ceremonial stuff. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about deities. I'm talking about non-theistic use of your natural energy, combined with correspondences, visual cues, olfactory cues, things like this to stimulate a certain psychological response within individuals, and that kind of thing helps bring certain changes into being. It's not manipulation. It's not violent. It's not vile. It's not hardcore. It's not any of that stuff. So the point is like the rosebush one is like you buy a rose bush, you buy 3 pieces of rose quartz, you buy a pink card. Inside the card, you write down 3 things you like about your spouse. Each of you hold, and then you buy a fresh rose, and then each of you hold the fresh rose, and you say the 3 things that you like about each other to each other. Then you bury the rose, you plant the rose bush on top of the rose, you put one of the rose quartz pieces on the stem of the rose bush you're planted. As the rose bush grows and blossoms, it remind you of your love together. Pink, it's pink's rose quartz, pink card. You leave the card as a visual cue within your living establishment if you're living together to remind you of your love, your whatever, your kind words to one another. And then each of you carries around a piece of rose quartz in your pocket, and that reminds you of, again, those kind words, those things like that. So then, if the husband's like out and he's drunk one time after work with his friends, and some girl's in the bar hitting on him, the girl will be like, oh, you want to do this? And he's kind of like, his inhibitions are lowered. He might then look up and see, like rosé wine. And that's another thing. At the end of the spell, then you go and you take a pink bubble bath with pink bath bombs, pink soap, and drink rosé wine or rosé champagne. And that visual cue like that might remind him to not be, to stick to his guns with his relationship, his marriage. So it's actually something that can lead to a lessened state of infidelity. So I don't think that's stupid. That's actually incredibly beneficial if you think about it. You can't, as the rose bush blooms, then you could have like a little cutting of the flowers, ritual where you did the things and kind of, went down, had brunch together, rosé and pancakes or something together, and rosé and fruit, who knows what. And then you sat there and took in the scent of your freshly groomed or gathered roses, and that would be something that kind of bring you together. That's not like somebody waving a wand and conjuring the 5th element of the the Saturn rings. I'm not insulting that, but I'm just saying some stuff people like, that's kind of weird that you talk about some of the things you talk about. But I'm sure when you just look at what I just said, that's not illogical. That's not out of the realm of logic or reason. What I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is just simple stuff now that we would consider being sentimental, potentially with your partner, your spouse, or your whatever you want to call it, your life partner if you're not married, and you just want to spend that together. So you start putting these into context. I think it's also a really interesting way to stimulate romance within couples. It's unique. Everybody's like, yo, man, I'm with my girl, the new movie, where then we're gonna go eat the new restaurant. You could drop some really old school stuff that's really white magic, if you want to call it that. And it could be an incredibly romantic, unique thing because it shows you actually put thought into learning about correspondence. Pink flowers, a fresh pink rose, a pink card, pink rose quartz, the rosé. It's all very visually stimulating all your senses, and that really is a big part of what romance and love's about. It's about not just your penis and your vagina and you're kissing all over each other, having orgasms. That's just one little part of something. There's a huge part about love, and that's kind of what is you're building up. You don't want to see her nude right off the bat. She's revealing something to you. It's this, you're building to this thing, and that's kind of it keeps you in that state of like, wanting, but like in a respectful manner. So that's one thing you could learn from certain things. Like that's really beautiful if you think about it. And that's kind of what love is. Love isn't just like, I'm gonna go like ram my penis in a girl and kiss on her. We're gonna tell her that was amazing. We both came. That's what it's there for. No, it's not. Like it's almost like the orgasm is the most minimal thing. It's actually like the act of love, the energy there that's involved, the true act of coitus between two consenting adults. That thing there it's beautiful. I mean, that's what it is. It's for lack of better words, it's love is divine. So anyway, I just want to say that's just my view on something.